take back the audience to films like Bandhana, Halu Jenu, Casablanca.
The emotions themselves may not be so gentle, they may express ends of the spectrum.
Working with a director like Hemanth.
What differentiates her? How is it to pull off?
It's an act of destiny. It's
That depth we can never realize, because I myself am a writer and a director, so I know that
Certain Kannada films should not be diluted.
nobody would talk to each other. would make the movie.
yeah, it has that touch of 80s, 90s for sure. It will be a very beautiful journey right in your heart.
This is my specific story. It's very different from what you've experienced. Come watch.
Welcome to Cinema Express, Nanu A. Sharadhaa. Today we are in conversation with the lead actors of Sapta Sagaradaache Ello. The film releasing in two parts, Side A of this intense romantic drama will be released on September 1st. Hello Rakshit. Hi.
Hi.
Rukmini.
Hi.
Okay. This question was actually for Hemanth, but
I'll try to answer that.
but that applies to you also because both of you are on the same page. Basically, during my first interaction about Sapta Sagaradaache Ello, Hemanth had mentioned that he wants to deliver an off-age romance where he can take back the audience to films like Bandhana, Halu Jenu, Casablanca, and I remember he mentioned Mauna Ragam also.
Pallavi and Pallavi.
Pallavi and Pallavi also. You're also a producer of the film. Do you think you both are on the same page?
In the sense, one, the film itself is a poetry, which actually takes back you to that era, because those days, like for example, Pallavi and Pallavi is in a lot of ways the way it is shot and all. It is in a certain way it is a poetry, right? And probably we have stopped making those kind of films. Whereas today, if you make, for today's generation, if you make a poetry kind of a film, then probably Sapta Sagaradaache Ello, what Hemanth has explored here, is the film into that category. Yeah, it has that touch of 80s, 90s for sure. In a lot of ways, not just because it is a poetry, but also because the way the story flows and the kind of love what Manu and Priya they have in between them, the scenes which he has written between Manu and Priya, everything is of that era.
If you want to pick the best for of that time, some romantic dramas, which one would you select?
For me, Pallavi and Pallavi is superb, and Bandhana, Geeta, all these are my favorite films.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about you, Rukmini?
I think Mauna Ragam was one that moved me a lot, of that sensibility, that kind of I call those films very, the feeling they leave in me is one of, it's very gentle. Whether it's the emotions themselves may not be so gentle, they may express ends of the spectrum, but the way in which the film sort of washes over you, I find that very gentle.
For a contemporary girl like Rukmini, watching a film of that age, and she has some, like she describes it like as if it's come yesterday. It's nice. Basically, for Rakshit Shetty, you have often said this, that SSC, the experience in SSC has been unique. But how does it separate from the roles you have played before?
SSC is very intense that way, and probably as an actor also I was in a phase where I was exploring myself. Sapta Sagaradaache Ello is very, very special to me because the films which I have done before this, either I have written them or some of the films which I have not written, probably the character didn't have so much depth what Manu has. Probably Hemanth has evolved as a writer also. Every character what is written in SSC, especially Manu and Priya, it has so much depth that he's very clear about those characters. And when we're performing also, he sees what we are doing, and then he always has some kind of an addition which is adding something to the character every time. Probably the big difference is working with a director like Hemanth Rao. I've worked with him before in Godibana Sadharamaikattu, but probably Shiva's character didn't have as it did have definitely, but there, Venkat Rao had much more deeper character. As a romantic film, probably Hemanth had better ideas. I don't know if it is. I'm sure it is not from his real life, but probably the kind of films he has watched, is in his during his early age.
Or the experience around what he has seen, probably.
Maybe, yeah. So he keeps saying that he sees small things in his friends and adopts that in his films. As an actor, I have not gotten into so much depth while playing a character as much as I have gotten here. And that experience is very new to me for sure.
Okay. Also, continuing with this, playing two shades, multiple shades is normal today for an actor.
Yeah.
But playing a shade with a 10-year age gap and shade, you define actually what different shades are. How is it to pull off this character, which was lighter for you, since you have already completed shooting for both, which was a lighter shade to play?
Lighter shade was definitely the side A Manu, because side B Manu is even more complex. But probably even in life, I was in a phase where I was exploring myself as a person, and probably that helped also for me not to play side B, but side A, side A for sure. To play side B, I think I was meditating a lot those days, so that helped me.
We'll talk about it in detail.
In detail, yeah, for sure.
Okay, so there always is there a pressure for Rakshit Shetty to deliver a different experience with each film? Because audience don't want to come and watch Rakshit Shetty what they have seen before.
Yeah, so that's a conscious decision which I had taken, during the starting of my career only. Right in Simple on Loshori, there were like 3 shades for me in one film to play. And that was the most interesting fact about the film, because of which I accepted that film. And I wanted to break each and every character in my next film. I don't take it as a pressure because I love doing that, and I love to break the notion what audience has about me as an actor or as a personality. Because most of the times, probably especially when you're giving films, one film in 2 years or one film in 3 years, especially people tend to associate more with the character than your real personality. They think this is Rakshit, because the next film has to come and break it, and it'll take some time. But I love doing it. I enjoy the process because cinema is in a way it is life for me. And if I work in any film, I want to go into the complete depth of it. I want to explore everything of that character, and that gives me kind of satisfaction.
What is that you did something different from your previous films to stay depth into this character?
I think for this film, it was, for me, what helped was meditation for sure.
Playing a lead role in an intense romantic drama, coming your way of this scale for a relatively newcomer.
Total newcomer.
So how do you take this? Like, what is?
I call the process of being in this film it's an act of destiny. It's something serendipitous. Some things, after a long time of nothing working for me, COVID, just general sense of difficulty, the strange way in which things just fell into place for this, for me to even be here today talking to you, or for me to have played this part. It's something that is beyond the normal forces of life. Yeah.
You have told before, like how you landed up in this role. But if you want to say a little more about it.
I did reach out to Hemanth when I found out that they were looking for a female lead. But I think one detail that I haven't mentioned before is that when we were talking about this in the first initial meeting before the screen test, before he shared anything with me, he was like, he asked me about what films I watched, what I like about cinema, and he just asked if there was anything that, how I approach acting. And I said, I'm looking for something where I get to flex, in terms of acting, or where I get to do something. And I felt like an idiot when I went back. I was like, you should have not said that. But I think this has become one of those, it became one of those projects for me where you are sort of thrown in the deep end and you're like, okay, now swim. And that's exactly what I wanted. And the growth for me as an artist has been exponential, just in terms of how even I view myself or my craft.
But Rakshit made it easy. He
Of
came
course.
along with you.
Yeah.
You also needed that company where you can meditate together. So both of you.
No, I didn't have the same meditation process. I'm terrified of meditation. But he was definitely a very, very supportive presence. We both had our different processes in order to find our way as Rakshit and Rukmini to Manu and Priya. But as you meet as Manu and Priya on set, there was unquestioning, unwavering support from his end, without which it would not have been possible.
When I recall, like, there were actors, they didn't have workshops and all, but do you think today's movie needs workshop? Because I did an article of you both having a workshop only. What was it necessary for this movie?
In the sense, it was definitely necessary because we both are introverts and Hemanth is an introvert and we all get together.
Nobody would talk to each other. We would make the movie.
So it was not just the chemistry between me and her; it was the chemistry between all three of us because he had to understand us, or he understands me, but us together. So that I'm sure workshop helped Hemanth also in a certain way. In workshop, we definitely developed a bonding. When we started the workshop, probably, I take time to get to know someone or to open up to someone. And probably, this is her second film. So probably even she had notions
Yeah,
about,
definitely did.
about, Hemanth Rao has done two films which both are hit. And, I have a
roster of films,
lineup of films. So we had to break that and then become friends first, trust each other. So there was a lot of exercises which was based on trust, building trust and stuff like that. We cooked.
Yeah, that itself can become a short movie of yours.
I'm sure it could.
At least a making video for sure.
A BTS video for sure.
Like, how was it to become Priya, and what kind of message you impart with your role to the audience?
Wow. Message I impart. I'll answer your latter part first. I think the message that Priya leaves people with at the end of Side A is the sheer strength of love, the constancy, and like the almost cement-like strength of it. Concrete it is. But becoming Priya was not a very complex process, in the sense that I'm not a method actor. That is not something that works for me. And Hemanth also is not the kind of director that buries you under a lot of details. He'll give you a few key factors that make a person click why they do. And you function with those within the format of the script. So he'll give you a North Star for Priya. This is something that's extremely important to her. We all have those as people. We all have certain things that intrinsically make us function the way we function. So he'll give you that one element, and then you go into a scene and that was part of my work. So when I worked on the script, I would look at something and be like, okay, is this reason? Is this the reason she behaves like this? Or could this be it? And then if I had a doubt about it, if I had a problem about it, I would go and speak with Hemanth, and then we'd bandy ideas back and forth. But for the most part, Priya emerges in conjunction with Manu's energy. So there's not much you can do on your own. That is something that emerges together.
The lines in this romantic drama are very simple but complicated.
Yeah.
How was it to deliver this dialogue?
See,
Manadalada maatu antaralla atra something.
I think more than the dialogues, what mattered for us was what we exchanged through our eyes. Because if I could see Priya, only then I could be Manu, right? So, and I could be as much as Manu, as much as she can be Priya. And the rest of the things, like dialogues, it flows naturally. If that connection happens during the scene. And yeah, I've told before that, after 10 years I found a co-star who actually supported me in terms of acting. Or probably this film required it. The films which I have done before was not that intense. This film was so intense that it required it, and we found the right girl.
Going by the rushes, it says that Priya is a singer.
Yes.
Delivering dialogues is to be a singer, and okay, you just have to lip sync also. But if you can share your experience of that singing side of you.
The singing side of Rukmini.
Singers, yeah. No, singer side as Priya.
Huh.
But as Rukmini also you can tell me. I'll be happy to hear.
I mean, in terms of the prep that I did, I just sort of, when Charan was recording a few scratches and stuff, and he had a singer come in, I went into the studio and I just sort of got a sense of the body language and, how they move their hands, what correlation their hand has with the note that they're hitting. So that kind of stuff was all my prep was. I'm not a singer, so I have no control. Yeah, I'm not trained, so I don't have that riyaz type of situation where your voice will do what you want it to do. My voice is in control of me, so I'll try something. Some days it's great, and I'm like, man, I should be a playback singer. And then the next day I try the same thing, and it drags me back to earth. So I was just I was singing alongside, but I was very particular that Hemanth has a giant speaker off screen, and we're playing the scratch that the musician was singing to it.
That what influences to a decision for you to make in two parts, and what a little more about side A if you want to explain.
What makes it into two parts is because there are two stories basically.
Yeah.
See, if you watch, for example, Mungaru Male, there's one story there. But what happened to Preetham after that? Is there another story? So there is probably.
I'm giving a hint to Ganesh. You can make Mungaru Male too, but they have made,
but
not with
the same character.
Okay.
But if you follow that character, there's one more story there also. So similarly, this has two stories, but if you club it, and you can make it into one story also. It's not that it's not possible. But as we were shooting the film, at one point we realized that certain things has to be told. You can't cut them, because to know Priya and Manu and to know their story completely, you need to watch certain scenes. So and the length of the film will come to us. So now you can't make a 2-hour film which is first half and again 2-hour film for the second half, right? So since the beginning, as we were shooting the film, Hemanth came and told me that probably this can be one film. So I told him that you finish the film, you shoot the film completely. We'll shoot the next schedule also. We'll finish side B, and then probably in the editing table you can take a call. That's how And then I saw the film. When I saw the when I watched side A and side B as a separate films, I realized that okay, this you can't cut anything there. You know, the whole story has to be told the way it is. And I believe that the director knows the best, because the kind of depth he will go into while writing the story, that depth we can never realize, because I myself am a writer and a director, so I know that the kind of details I know about my films, none of them around me, even if I explain it to them, they cannot understand it, because I am seeing it from a different lens. So similarly, I completely trusted Hemanth's intuitions when it comes to the film, because he's gone too deep into it.
This is an instant question. Since you are also a writer, director, Hemanth, you have worked together. Was it okay at times when Rakshit interfered and said, gave his inputs?
Hemanth is a team player basically. In the credit also he puts a film by Hemanth Rao and team, because he believes in it. He takes every input from every person who are capable of giving inputs, and then he decides what to take and what not to. So there are instances where I have given him input and probably after that he didn't respond to it. So I realized that if it is a good idea, then he will take it immediately. There is no argument there. And if the idea is not syncing with his ideas, then he'll ignore it. And then probably after a week I get to know that why he has ignored it, because I get a better picture of what is there in his mind. Okay. So that has happened many times.
Coming back to while we were saying two paths was necessary. Also today, as you are aware, as a producer, writer, director, commercial films are accepted as a pan-Indian film today. But will the audience give the same push to romantic dramas?
We don't know, which is why we are not releasing the film in one shot everywhere. But there is a scope. I believe there is a scope, and I believe if cinema has to travel, then it will travel. We don't have to take it around. There are certain films where you as a producer you see a market, and for example Charlie, I knew that there are dog lovers across the country. So as a producer, that's a market which I can't ignore. So I know if I invest certain amount of money, as long as I don't lose that, I'm ready to invest that money. But here I believe the cinema it's a proper cinema, and the cinema is going to travel. That's what my belief is, at least for now. Let's see.
You always analyze why certain films work and not work.
See,
why is that? What do you think romantic films might take time for other languages?
Never know. See, KGF was the first example. Until KGF, we didn't know that a film from Kannada can become so big. Bahubali was the first example. Until Bahubali, we didn't know that South Indian films can release across the country in a big way. Nobody even expected that Kantara will, at least until the release in Kannada, they didn't have any plans of releasing it across the country. But the cinema travelled, so you don't know what will be a path-breaking cinema.
But is there some certain Kannada films should not be diluted and make it widespread to other audience? You think that's okay?
We are nobody to decide that. If cinema wants to travel, then should we? No, this is only a Kannada film. Why are you going to Andhra? We can't do that, right? If the cinema wants to travel, then if there are people who want to watch it, I'm sure there will be a cry. And some distributor will come and take it. If that is the fate of this film. So it's not that we are desperate to make it into. Not every film has to be a pan-India film. Not that we are desperate to make it into a pan-India film. But let's see what fate has in store for Sapta Sagaradaache Ello. I believe it will travel.
Since it's a universal theme, no? Romance is a
universal theme, yeah. And the film is also is set up in a certain way where people across the country can connect to it. But it has to make a sound first, at least in Karnataka, and then probably it will choose. Then it will go to one state. Then it will make a sound there. Then another state will. It is doing good there also. So let's release it here. So that way, I think that's a very organic way of traveling. I'm not talking about Sapta Sagaradaache Ello, any film for that matter. See, Pan India is a market today. People across the country are ready to watch, irrespective of what language it comes from. As long as they can connect to it, they're ready to watch the film. And today's market is in such a way that there is a clear bifurcation between what kind of films I want to watch on OTT and what kind of films I want a theatrical experience. Sapta Sagaradaache Ello is definitely a theatrical experience film. It's a very beautiful experience you will have watching the film, that is for sure. I can guarantee you that. And theaters need films. We right now we are in dearth of films which will give you theatrical experience. Kantara was that kind of a film. The last 20 minutes, the kind of experience what you get in theater, do you think you can get in OTT or anywhere else? You can't, right? So this is, in a certain way, this is that kind of film. I mean, Kantara gives you adrenaline rush. This won't, but this gives you certain feelings here, which is very beautiful, I believe. At least I've got that feeling when I watched the film.
Hemanth got emotional each time after a scene, along with Advait Guru, cinematographer.
Yeah.
Did you also somewhere
At
go
many
in the
places, for
corner
sure.
and did you get emotional? Did you go somewhere in the corner and got emotional after a certain scene? You?
No. They got emotional because yeah, we were performing. So I was getting emotional on shot only.
Yeah, we got all our emotion out of our
Out
system
there
like
only.
that.
Yeah. We used to switch off as soon as he says cut. We used to switch off and look at him. He's crying.
We all grew up watching Kannada films as a kid and adult. And now, for both of you, from the industry point of view, as an industry person, you watch, what are the changes you have perceived in Kannada industry, and how is it being looked at by other industries now?
See, when we came to the industry, I remember a lot of producers saying that ours is a small industry, And I always had this argument that no industry is small. Industry gives you a platform. The cinema, what you make, can be big or small. We are making more Swamik films. Many more filmmakers have come, many more writers have come to the industry, and they are trying something else, which is not tried before. If you ask me, is this enough? No, it's not enough. Many more filmmakers have to come from different part of Karnataka, and we're supposed to explore different cultures, different traditions. I don't know much about North Karnataka, but when I go there, I come across a festival which I have not seen all my life, and probably if I stay there, I'll get more details about that festival, and a lot of things which I'm unaware of. Somebody has to make a film out of that and show me on screen, not me, at least the rest of the Karnataka. And it is also a documentary for the future, right? I mean, Ondu Mutteya Kate is a documentary for the future. Ulidaru Kannante is a documentary for the future. Toby or Garudagamana Vrishavana, these are the films which are documentary for the future. People, after 50 years, if they want to know, then there is a reference at least, which is a true cinema, which is a realistic cinema.
But Godi Banna also shows Bangalore, no?
It does show Bangalore, yeah. So there are films like Godi Banna, and there are films, other films also. I mean, recently there are films like Achar and Co. These films, I have not watched it, but I know, I've watched the trailer. I know these are the films which will stay as a documentary for immemorial, time immemorial. So I am expecting many more films like this from across the state.
Do you think more cinemas in Kannada will help to
more films,
in Kannada?
more filmmakers, more actors, more theaters, much more. A lot of things. Yeah, a lot of things. The best thing is now, since these kind of films are coming, many more will get inspired, because I know, from my generation, I know a few friends who, when I was trying to make Ulidaru Kannante, or when I was doing simple on the shore, when I was doing short films, they didn't want to do short films here. They have gone to Bombay, they have gone to Tamil Nadu. I know a filmmaker who's gone to Tamil Nadu and who has made a film. He's born and brought up in Bangalore, but he did his film studies for 2 years in Chennai, and he settled on there because he thought there is a better scope there. I know a few filmmakers who have gone and settled down in Bombay. Nothing has happened to them. If they had stayed here at this time, they could have made a good Kannada film.
Yeah, definitely.
There, nothing has happened. But why did they leave first of all?
Usually, why
they thought they couldn't make the kind of films what they want
Exactly.
to make here. But today, that's not the case. Today, Kannada audience is accepting all kind of films as long as the film is good. That's the beauty about Karnataka right now during this time. In Tamil Nadu, probably you have to think first. What kind of films run? Should I make this film? Even if it's a good script, you still have to think. In Andhra, probably you still have to think that these kind of films, do they run in Andhra? But in Karnataka, it's not that. If you have a good script, it's a good cinema. If it is going to be a good cinema, then there is an audience here who are ready to watch, because we are multicultural. We have watched films of all the languages. You go to North, there's a part of Maharashtra also, there's a part of Hyderabad also in Karnataka. You go to South, there is part of Tamil Nadu also. There's part of, if you come to
Kannada,
Canada, then it looks like Kerala also. So we are actually, everything put together in one box, which is very beautiful. We should make use of that. In the sense, we always complain that, our audience, they watch all kind of, all languages. It's a good thing. Don't look at it in a very negative way.
For you, like you're just 2 films old. If you want to say, how is...
No, I think I'll piggyback on what Rakshit was saying. In the very little that I have observed since entering this industry, I do think before there was a certain kind of leaning toward making this film as relatable as possible. Like, what element in this can we connect to as many people? Because the notion was that if that relatability exists, then you can garner more, a larger audience. But I feel like in what I've seen, there has been a shift toward, this is my specific story. It's very different from what you've experienced. Come watch. Like, this is my world. Come watch. Which is so exciting, because I don't think that relatability is necessarily the reason you go and watch something. You want to swim around in a new world. You want to understand a different culture and their preoccupations and the things that make them click. You want to it's escapism. You go there and you're like, okay, now for 2.5 hours, tell me about your world. I don't want to know about my world necessarily. So it's a really beautiful experience. And like Rakshit was saying, it leads to, like, cinema is a really powerful medium. You have, it's auditory, it's visual. You are consuming so much in every one frame that it's a very powerful medium to tell your story, to talk about your culture, to talk about your thing. I didn't know anything about Bhutakola and all before I went into Kantara. The world that threw me in, the kind of other things it sparked off for me, the interest in that culture, in that kind of life was electric. And I think that's really exciting to watch right now.
Okay. If you come to Sapta Sagara, which part, like, you feel that might electrify the audience? Like, what do you say? Because I have to talk about Sapta. Kantara is over.
I think it's the relationship between the two characters, between Manu and Priya. To me, like, I could tell you the story now. I could tell you the plots. I could tell you the big reveals and everything. But still, even if I ruined that for you and you come to watch our film, you will still walk away with that intrinsic feeling of what these two share. I can't ruin that for you, because you can only experience that.
Yeah. So I had sent you a message. No, I don't. I'm prepared to cry.
I more than cry, I think that you'll go through a journey here. The way you feel, your emotions are going to change every now and then throughout the film, and it will be a very beautiful journey right in your heart. Okay. It's a very beautiful journey. It's a very different journey, which probably only a love story can give you. But again, this love story is, again, poetically, it is different. You should watch the film and then talk about it.
I think you'll understand. Like, we were using a lot of words, but it's so experiential that
Yeah.
Okay, before I end up with the last question, if you want to say something to the audience, you can talk about Sapta.
Yeah, as I always said, it's a Hemant Rao's poetry on a audio visual format, and that's a beautiful theatrical experience you are going to experience while watching this film. So don't miss it in theaters.
My interview will not complete, especially for your fans, like if I don't ask you what next answer. So you have to tell me.
Next is Richard Anthony. October 20th, side B is going to release. So probably 22nd, 23rd, I'm going to retire from Sapta. And probably from November 1st, I'll completely start working on Richard Anthony.
You will start shooting this year only? Like,
End of this year or early next year. So.
okay. She has a line of films to talk about.
I do.
If you want to say.
No, I'm not sure that there's much to say about them. They're sort of ongoing, and I'm lucky I have so many fires burning. But as of now, I'm really excited to see how Sapta travels to people.
Thank you, both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Even